Alright, what's going on everyone? We got the 5090 paired with the 9800X3D on 4K. And right here at low settings, we are at 164 FPS. And we are looking good. Our PCL is down in the teens, so that is going to be a really huge advantage to this card. The PCL is going to be nice and low for the majority of the test as I slam into everything around me. Alright, yeah, so let's just keep on going here, and 160, 170 FPS here at low settings, so definitely stretching out more the CPU at this point than the GPU. So let's just keep on going and go to the next level. So we're going to go to turn off that upscaling, and then we're going to come in here and turn all this junk off. So this is just medium settings at 4K, and we go down to about 154 FPS. Just trying to establish where we might need some upscaling. This would be a card that you would want to definitely get your money's worth out of. So we're going to target what it would kind of take to be around 100 FPS, not the normal 60, just because of the strength of this card. So once we get around 100 FPS, that's when we'll start doing some upscaling, just to make sure that we are kind of, doing a realistic test for why someone would purchase a 5090. Alright, so yeah, let's just keep on going here and go down this back stretch here and see what we can expect. 160 FPS here. Alright, so let's just jump over to the next level and go over to the high setting. Turn off all that upscaling, don't need it. Let's go into here and turn all this junk off that it likes to turn on. And let's go back into it. PCL is still around 21 milliseconds with 130 FPS here. So still looking really good, still nowhere near 100, so we're just going to run through this real quick and see what it takes once we hit that 100 threshold. Again, I'm just trying to be in the mind of someone who would purchase a 5090. You wouldn't purchase a 5090 for 4K 60. You would probably target a 5080 for that. But yeah, we are looking like 122 FPS. I just want to make sure that I'm given kind of realistic scenarios here. Alright, so yeah, so we are looking at 129 FPS, so everything looks really good. Alright, so let's just jump over and go up to that next level, which would be the ultra setting with no ray tracing, no path tracing. Come in here, turn all this off, and turn that all off as well. Okay, so we are right at 105, okay, so right down, we're on 96 FPS. So this would be a point where you could think about doing some upscaling. To get that PCL way back down. It's at 27 milliseconds right now. Not that you need it on a game like this, but again, I'm trying to just provide a realistic scenario for why someone would purchase a 5090. For most games and most scenarios, it is overkill. So this would be for someone who just really has a real high need for refresh rates, which there are people out there, because right here we're running 80 something FPS on that roundabout area, so that is a more challenging area to run. So I would probably say we're just going to jump over and start doing some upscaling from here, go to quality, and see what we can expect. So let's jump over and get into it. Alright, so we're going to go back up to that ultra setting, and we're going to turn on some quality upscaling, if I can get to it. Come on, here we go. Alright, transformer model, DLAA, let's go to quality. I'm going to bring that sharpening way back down. We don't need that much, that's way too much sharpening. Alright, so yeah, we are looking like, turn all this off, let's just do a recap. Got our sharpening down. Once we get into frame generation, that sharpening needs to be low anyway, so I just go ahead and set it down. It does look great cranked all the way up, but sometimes it can lead to some weird issues when it comes to your ghosting. Alright, so quality, and let's just jump into it. So that brings us back up here at ultra settings to 112 FPS. So very, very respectful. This is what you would expect a 5090 to do. This is why you would purchase a 5090, is for these really high refresh rates, along with enjoying some path tracing and keeping your PCL low without having to use a ton of DLSS and upscaling, and without having to do any sort of major frame generation. So yeah, we're looking like 102 FPS. So it held on to 100 FPS through that, so that's a good sign. Alright, so let's just keep on rolling through it and see what we can expect. Let's jump over here and do a little peely. There we go. Alright, so 110, 104 FPS, we're still fine. And I'm just going to go over to that very first level of of ray tracing rather, not path tracing. I'm going to keep it on, let's go with DLAA right here, just to see what it would do without it and then with it. And I'm just going to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. Just the nature of this card, you know, it requires a little bit more numbers, a little bit more testing, depending on, you know, what people would purchase a card like this for. All right, so this is just DLAA, so we're not doing any sort of upscaling, and as you can see with that first level of ray tracing low on, you are already at sub 60 in some points. So, you know, that's kind of why I targeted that 100, is because I kind of knew it was going to do this, so I just went ahead and input that, you know, metric in there for you at first. But yeah, we're looking like right at 60, so 64K on the mighty 5090. It still needs upscaling at 4K, so we're just going to keep on going and go back up to that quality real quick, so we can kind of just get that out of the way and put any fears to rest that, you know, if you don't do any sort of upscaling, you're gonna, you know, hit that sub 60 right at that first level of ray tracing on this card. You know, even though it's a 5090, this game can be quite demanding, especially at 4K. But with that upscaling, you're at 112 FPS here, and everything is looking nice and smooth. Frame time graph is nice and flat. Your PCL, once I make this turn, I don't want to wreck, I'll look up there. It's very tiny for me too. I can't unfortunately make it any larger. But yeah, it is at 25 milliseconds. So we are still very, very, very low on our PCL, which is great. Hopefully that holds up. All right, so let's just go around this. So we're dipping right under 100 there. So let's just keep on going and go up to that very next level of ray tracing. All right, so this is ray tracing medium. I'm gonna go over to that DLA just to put any fears to bed, and come down here, turn all this off and apply it. Let's go here and double check. All right, so we are on medium ray tracing, transformer model, of course, DLAA, and no frame generation yet or anything like that. This just brings in your sun shadows in addition to those local shadows from ray tracing low. It just adds this metric right, or this setting right here, and sets your ray trace lighting to medium as well. So let's just get into it. All right, so as you can see, ray tracing is no freaking joke, even for a 5090. We're at 43 FPS. So again, this puts all those fears to bed that you definitely need upscaling, even on a 5090 for this title, especially whenever you start getting into that heavy ray tracing and path tracing. Certainly, the only thing that's different about this card is it doesn't cost as much upscaling. It tends to hold on, you know, at a few settings sooner than something like a 5080. Or a 5070 Ti. But yeah, just to kind of prove that even the 5090 needs upscaling, here you go. You're not even maxed out on your path tracing yet, and you're already in the 30s. So let's just keep on going. I'm gonna kick it back up to that quality. We're gonna keep going. All right, so let's just go up to quality, and this will improve things significantly. So immediately much smoother. We're at 74 FPS here, 82 on this back stretch. 85. So yeah, as you can see, even the beast, the GPU from the gods, still needs help. So yeah, we're still at 80 though. Let's just go ahead and go up to that very next level. Well, actually, let's go to balanced here, because I want to check out a few different of these upscaling methods on different settings. It's going to be a little bit more thorough than I normally do. But yeah, we are still not at 100 here. So if you want 100 FPS, you're probably going to have to go to performance, even as early as ray tracing medium here. So yeah, no joke. Path tracing, ray tracing, all that stuff, it is a huge demand on your hardware. All right, so yeah, we're at 94 back here. All right, let's just kick it on over, keep going. All right, so yeah, we are looking like sub 100. So let's come in here, go up to performance, and this will definitely get us over that hump. Now in performance 4K, of course, it still looks pretty good, but you are just barely over 100 here. So once we go up in our ray tracing, this number will come down a good bit, especially once we hit path tracing. All right, so I'm just going to keep on rolling through here. Let's going to dip down a little bit around this area, and then we'll come out of this corner and do some more adjustments. All right, so let's jump over into it here. All right, so that was medium. Let's go on up to Ray Tracing Ultra, and let's of course look at DLAA just to see what our baseline would be at this setting. Let's turn all this stuff off here. All right, so this would be DLAA, transformer model. Turn on that ray reconstruction, make sure we take care of that, and everything looks good here. So this is Ultra DLAA, Ultra Ray Tracing, rather, DLAA, and that is down in the, oh man, that is down in the 46 FPS. I just hit that tree because I am looking at other metrics. Definitely don't text and drive, because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But yeah, we are looking like 50 FPS here on DLAA. So 44 milliseconds of response. So let's just jump up. We're going to have to keep working up through these different levels of upscaling to get it to a point where it's you know, worthy of the frame rates you would expect from a 5090. All right, so yeah, we are at 80 FPS here on quality. Now, if this is your thing, this is perfect. It's still well over 60, but you know, on a 5090, I feel like the target is more 100 FPS. I could be wrong. Everybody's different, but you know, I don't want to buy a 5090 for barely over 60. I want some really high refresh for it. Even on my single-player games, it's still kind of that point of just like being ludicrous with your frames. But we're just going to check it all out to make sure that we know what to expect if we were to go mortgage our house and buy this card. All right, so yeah, here we are. So balanced DLSS here gets you up to about 96, 99 FPS. So we are looking pretty good. We're close to that 100, and it's still very nice, very sharp looking. So we're at 93. All right, so just gonna keep on rolling and jump up to that very next level of performance. All right, so let's go up and check out what performance does on the Ray Tracing Ultra, and that gives you about 110, 108 FPS, 115. So we're over 100 now, finally, with performance upscaling on Ray Tracing Ultra. All right, so there we go. Just make sure I don't hit anyone. Just trying to get through this corner while paying attention. The last thing I want is a bunch of cops on me. All right, here we go. So let's just keep on going. Let's go up to, let's go back to quality and bring it down here and turn on that Psycho Ray Trace lighting. So this is the highest you can expect from ray tracing as far as a setting goes before you jump over into path tracing. So we're still at 80 FPS here at quality. So it's definitely, you know, more than doable. It's very beautiful, and we are at 78 FPS here. So we're enjoying some really nice high quality ray tracing before we jump over into that path tracing. All right, so we're at 73. Let's just keep on rolling, go up to balance next and see what we can expect there. Let's go up to balance there. Okay, so this is still that ray traced Psycho ray trace lighting, and that dips us, we're still dipping under 100 pretty regularly here. So I don't think we might even hit 100, but yeah, we are looking like 85 FPS, 90, and keep it on going through here. Let's try not to wreck. All right, 85 FPS. Let's just jump over and hit up the next level of performance. All right, and believe it or not, it crashed. When I went to performance upscaling, it crashed. So even the 5090 can have issues, I guess. I don't know if that's just more the recent driver update, but yeah, it freaking crashed. So yeah, we're still looking good though. Hopefully whatever it was has sorted itself out with a restart. But a lot of times when I change these settings so often, it can introduce just some stability issues. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen here and there. And I am going a little bit faster than I normally do through these settings, just the nature of like wanting to test more on this card, so that might be to blame. All right, anyway, let's just keep on going. So right here we are at 106 FPS on performance upscaling with ultra ray tracing. He did that himself. That was not my fault. He walked right out in front of me. All right, yeah, so we are looking like 110 FPS here. So let's just jump over and kick on path tracing. So this will be ray tracing overdrive. I'm going to go DLAA just because I want to see, out of curiosity, what it runs like with no upscaling. Just a simple DLAA. Sharpness, everything looks good here. This is just going to be more for funsies, but yeah, we are looking like 27 FPS on the mighty 5090. Holy crap. If this is not a display of how intense path tracing is, I don't know what is, because this is insane. Not even 30 FPS on the 5090. Oh man. Yep, there's a cop. I knew it. Well, good thing is I'm about to go into frame generation soon, so I'll have to restart anyway. So joke's on them. All right, yeah, we are looking like 29, 30 FPS with no upscaling. So let's just jump over and go into quality, just work our way through all these settings. So that gives us a significant bump. It is still not 60, it is 51 FPS on the 5090 at quality DLSS with full path tracing enabled. It is no joke. I know I've said it before, and there was a comment, I believe, that, you know, kind of said like, oh, path tracing does look a lot better, and it does. It does. There are definitely areas in the game where they look very similar, but there are also areas in the game where path tracing is a noticeable difference between Ray Tracing Ultra and path tracing. My point being is it worth it? That's for you to decide, because path tracing is absolutely not a joke. I mean, here I am on a 5090 running it with quality upscaling, and it's still not at 60 FPS. So you're going to have to go up to balanced, and that might get you over 60 most of the time. We're still around 65, 62 FPS here. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it is just not anything that is easy to run whatsoever. I think it'll be several more generations of GPUs before we'll be able to run path tracing without upscaling on 4K at least. All right, but yeah, this is 63 FPS. Let's go up to performance, which is probably what you're going to have to use anyway if you want to do this with no frame generation, and that is still going to not give you 100 FPS. It's still going to give you about 75 FPS, which that's fine. You know, you can definitely frame generate your way there, which we'll check out that in a minute. But yeah, you're still at 82 FPS back here with that path tracing fully maxed out. So the 5090, while it is just a monster of a GPU, path tracing is more of a monster to run. I still think at this point. So yeah, we're going to jump over and go to some frame generation, and I'm going to run through that, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is kind of where the benefit of frame generation comes in on a card that is this fast with plenty of VRAM. Right here we are at the Ray Tracing Ultra Psycho, and I'm going to go through my settings real quick just to show you where we're at. This is just DLAA. We're not even upscaling. We've got 2X turned on and Psycho Ray Trace lighting with the Ultra setting up here. And we're just on a 2X frame gen, and we are on a PCL of about 63 milliseconds. So it's well under the 80 for a controller, and it is pretty darn close to the 50 that I like to have if I was on mouse and keyboard, and you're still getting about 80 FPS. It's still, you know, kind of good to remember that I am running all these tests with NVIDIA's Reflex Plus Boost turned on, so that really helps your response time quite a bit. It is actually really nice technology. Does a lot for your PCL. But you're at 82, 84 FPS without doing any sort of upscaling. So this is kind of where, you know, it takes the edge off of how much you are having to upscale. Because if I go up to quality upscale here, with that frame gen on 2X, you're looking like your PCL is well under 50. It's at 41 milliseconds. You have 130 FPS at this point. And this would really be the only setting I would probably consider, because I'm a big fan of frame generation, but I don't like to use more than I need. It just introduces additional latency and potential ghosting for no good reason other than to just have like a really high frame rate that, you know, on a single player game might not be any sort of benefit at all. But I'm going to run through some of these different upscalings real quick on 2X just to show you that it can affect your PCL. So this is really the only reason you would want to upscale, is if you wanted your PCL to be even lower, because right now it's in the 30s. Because your frame rate is fine. You know, there's no reason to really need some insanely high refresh rate for a game like this, but again, to each their own. So anytime you upscale, you're going to help your PCL as well, which often gets overlooked, you know, from time to time. Well, most of the time people just more obsess on your frame rate, but if it is beyond the human eye's perception on a game like this, then the only real reason to do upscaling is to improve your PCL, which is in the mid 30s right now. So let's just jump over and go into performance here, and then we'll go over and do some we'll do some path tracing and see what we need to do as far as frame generation goes. There it will be more of a benefit over there in the path tracing world, but yeah, our PCL really went down not that much. It becomes harder and harder to get lower and lower. It operates a lot like a speeding up car. It becomes you require more and more energy to go faster and faster and faster. So it's kind of like that with your PCL. So you know, the response time does become diminishing returns, almost like everything. But you're still around 200 FPS with just a 2x frame gen here. All right, so I'm gonna jump over and go into Overdrive, which is that path tracing, 2x here, and again, come down here and turn all this junk back off. We definitely don't want it on. And just to recap, DLAA, so no upscaling. And we are on that ray traced Psycho, a ray tracing Overdrive, which is path tracing. So let's jump into it with a 2x frame gen, and that gives us 57, 56 FPS. Remember, this was originally down in the high 20s at times, and that explains why our PCL is so high. It's at 86 milliseconds. So this is really not a viable setting for a card like this. I mean, yes, it is smooth to look at, but the response time is quite bad. You're going to have to do a little bit of upscaling, and I'm hopeful that the upscaling to quality will give us a low enough PCL to where the 2x frame gen just kind of like takes care of the rest of it. Because if you can get a nice fluid frame rate and your PCL is low, then you're good. And it looks like we're good. We're at 47 milliseconds here. So this is just a simple quality upscale with a 2x frame gen. Reflex plus boost is on, and you have everything absolutely cranked out to the max. So this is probably where my preference would be on this card, is to just use some frame generation with a quality upscale, because on path tracing I believe our frame rate was in the high 50s. With quality on, it was just shy of 60. Which the only concern there would just be your PCL not being quite 60, but with that reflex plus boost on, it keeps your PCL nice and low. So this is a really good balanced setting. You're using all of the technology that is on the card, which is also something that I try to do too, because at the end of the day, you're paying for that kind of stuff, and if it gives you a better experience with a different combination of settings, then it's worth exploring. But yeah, we're looking good here, 98, 99 FPS. I'm going to do a little bit more upscaling here at 2x. Again, 2x is more than enough for this game. Again, the more you use that frame generation, the more your PCL is going to go up for no real good benefit, because you're already right around 120 FPS here, and your PCL went down to 40 milliseconds here. So absolutely just a really good way to play this title here. Frame generation is a really cool technology when you use it the right way. It's not good for turning a bad situation into something good. It just kind of like, it's the enabler to me. It makes a bad situation worse, but it makes a good situation way better. But you just got to have the good situation first. So, you know, high 50s, low 60s FPS with frame generation, with everything completely maxed out, yeah, that's a good situation that you can make better with some frame generation. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you're using all this stuff the right way. All right, so yeah, 42 milliseconds here. So the only real reason to go up, again, in that upscaling is to just get your PCL back down. I mean, if you wanted it even lower than 40 on a controller, you can do that. You're in the 30s now, and your frame rate, you know, not that it was ever an issue before, but it is about 142 FPS here. All right, so I'm going to come over here and go through a little bit more of these frame generation settings. I'm going to go back up to quality, and we're going to go 3x. I'm going to work through 3 and 4x. I had a comment ask me why I don't do 3x. Mainly it was just to make the videos not as long, but you know, if I had someone ask, I'm going to go ahead and introduce it into my testing. All right, so yeah, we are looking about 139 FPS here with 3x frame gen. Now our PCL is at 51 milliseconds, so it's a slight bit higher than what we had on 2X. Not by much at all, like 1 or 2 milliseconds, but it's just worth pointing out. Yeah, we're at 145 FPS here. So I'm just going to walk through these next settings here. So let's go up to balanced on 3X. Just going to run through this a little bit quicker just so I don't have a giantly long video for no good reason, because most people will probably just skip through what they don't want to watch, what they're not interested in, and only watch what they are interested in. So right here at 46 milliseconds on our PCL and 170 FPS on a balanced upscaling. Let's keep on going. One more setting after this. So we're going to go performance 3X, 186 FPS, and our PCL is 47 milliseconds, right around here. So 200 FPS. This is crazy. All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm just going to make sure this is kind of quick and run through that very next level. So we're going to go up to 4X, bring it back down to quality, and see what we can expect here. So this would be a very high refresh rate, 4X frame generation. That's a lot of frames that are being generated, but you are still around 51, high 40s over here. So it looks like you know, everything's holding up just fine. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, it kind of kicked in. So there's our 4X frame generation penalty, because it just shot up to about 57 milliseconds, which is definitely higher than when we were using 2X. So anyway, let's just keep working our way around here and go over to balanced. Make sure everybody sees everything. All right, so balanced. Again with that 4X, and our PCL is at 45 milliseconds, and we are around 210 FPS. So definitely a little bit higher than the high 30s that we were seeing on 2X. But it's still a great experience. I just don't think that there's really a need to go all the way down on your upscaling past quality. I think the best setting is a quality upscale. If you want to do path tracing with a 2X frame gen, again, because your PCL is still nice and low, you're getting a crazy amount of frames for path tracing, and it's a great experience. All right, but anyway, I digress. I just want to kind of call out what I would probably utilize for this title. All right, so yeah, let's go through it here. Go to performance. So this is going to be all the bells and whistles. You got performance DLSS, you've got 4X frame generation, and your PCL is, let's make sure we get a good reading here. Your PCL is at 43 milliseconds. So the upscaling is definitely doing the heavy lifting on the PCL, because frame generation is definitely going to do a little bit of penalizing on the PCL for you there. I swear, if nobody wants to get hit, they need to stay out of the road. But yeah, this gives you 246 FPS with path tracing, which is just crazy. That's insane. That's just like, I can't even like wrap my head around what's going on to do this. But yeah, that's been a pretty good look. How I would probably run it, I'm just going to do that here at the end, just because I want to, you know, reiterate that you don't need to go past quality. You can use your frame generation and keep your PCL low and still have a great experience. So let's give that time to kick in. So yeah, this is down in the low 50s on your PCL. Everything is so freaking sharp looking. It looks so good, and your frames are right around 100 FPS. This is exactly how I would play it right here. I think this is like the best visual and performance setting for a game like this. All right, so anyway, yeah, this has been the 5090. It's kind of showing you how performative it can be, and the fact that path tracing is still insanely hard to run, even for this card. So anyway, I'm going to jump off, and if you like this video, be sure you subscribe. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back as a repeat offender. I really appreciate you supporting my channel. We're very close to 1,000 subs, and if I can hit that pretty quickly, I would be eternally grateful, because then I could start actually putting money back into the channel and get you guys even more testing done as more GPUs and more games come out. So yeah, be sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.